President Obama wading into the Republican presidential nominating process this week. The commander-in-chief stating emphatically who he believes will not be succeeding him in the White House.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president. And the reason is because I have a lot of faith in the American people. And I think they recognize that being president is a serious job. It's not hosting a talk show or a reality show.
Joining me right now is the son of Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump and executive vice president of the Trump Corporation, Eric Trump. Also joining the conversation for the hour is former Chrysler and Home Depot CEO Bob Nardelli. Gentlemen, good to see you.
Good morning.
Eric, thanks very much for joining us.
Welcome.
What's your reaction to President Obama poo-pooing your father?
Well, listen, in a certain way, I think it's a great endorsement, at least among our crowd, right? I mean, it's a really good endorsement. But my father's built an incredible company. I mean, I think, Bob, you know this more than anybody. He's built one of the great real estate companies of the world and one of the great brands of the world. We're opening up hotels everywhere. Our company employs tens and tens of thousands of people. We have some of the best assets anywhere. And, you know, to hear somebody say that he's a great, you know, reality TV star, whatever he said, or a great marketer. I mean, my father's an unbelievable builder. He's an unbelievable visionary. I mean, what he's done to transform the New York skyline is simply incredible. And it's just very, very funny when they put it that way. I mean, it really irks at my soul.
Do you think, though, that what Nikki Haley said rings true, and does your father have a plan for that? Balancing the budget, growing reserves, getting the financials of this country back in order?
Well, who's been the guy who's been jumping up and down saying, guys, are you kidding me? We were in $19 trillion worth of debt. We're going to bankrupt our country. I mean, my father's been the most vocal about that. And quite frankly, if there's anybody who can balance a budget, it's Donald Trump. I mean, every week of his life, he's had to make payroll for thousands and thousands of people. I mean, he's had to run a company. He's needed to make sure it was solvent. I mean, that's what the man does. That's what the man thrives on. I mean, there's no one better at Trump than that. I mean, has Rubio ever done that? And, you know, listen, I like him as a person, but has he ever done that? Has he made payroll for thousands of people? Has he ever built billion-dollar projects? I mean, that's what he thrives on.
I think Eric makes a very strong point here. I mean, I would love to have a business-oriented person in the White House, someone that has had to make payroll, someone that understands capital allocation, someone that understands...
And managing tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people.
Globally.
Yeah.
And worrying about cash flow and worrying about legislation. So from my point of view, I think someone that's run a business versus a community organizer would be a big advantage.
So are you endorsing him right now?
I'm endorsing someone that's going to help us reduce our debt, create jobs, drive the GDP.
So you don't have a candidate yet?
Not yet.
But Eric,
I'll work on him. I'll work on him.
And you know I've been hard on your father, and certainly his fans online let me know about it. But you look at his tax plan, though, and this is one of the issues I have. He codifies the fact that half of American households don't pay any federal income tax. I mean, he lays it out saying that the way his tax plan is set up, that more than half of households would not pay any net federal income tax. And if you're for the military, you really want everybody to have a little skin in the game, so they're funding our men and women who are risking their lives.
He also codifies the fact that there's tremendous waste in government, right? I mean, in fact, Bob and I were talking about that 5 minutes ago, with the amount of waste. Look at Iran. I mean, just use that as the simplest deal because it's so front and center everywhere. $150 billion that we give to our biggest enemy. I mean, come on. Guys, we've got to start there. I mean, if you took that $150 billion and you put it into cancer research, you put it into military, you put it into the person who's living on $700 a week and, you know, can't afford their insulin shots. I mean, these are real examples. Take that $150 billion and use it for a good cause. Instead, we give it to a country who then grabs a boat of our troops and holds guns to their heads. I mean, we've got to start at the basics. We've got to start at the basics.
Yeah.
And he would do such a great job with that because the man has unbelievable backbone.
Again, I'm convinced, you know, having been in business all my life, there's a minimum of 20 to 30% inefficiency in the government departments today.
Oh, for sure.
And my experience is you don't take it away from you. Say, listen, we could reinvest in the military. Let's get more efficient and then reallocate that money. So it's not about increasing the budget. It's a reallocation of the budget towards genuine, legitimate expenses versus some of the waste that's going on there today and the inefficiencies I've seen working with these departments.
Yep. All of that completely true, and I couldn't agree more. That I think I would love to have an amendment that says you cannot go to D.C. unless you've had to make payroll. If you actually knew what it takes to run a business, you wouldn't make so many bad legislative moves. But the problem with having, what Dagan was saying, with having more than 50% of the population not paying taxes, they have no skin in the game. Why wouldn't you vote?
Payroll taxes.
Well, you're going to vote for more more government spending. Maybe we have a great president who manages to keep that under control, but what about the next president? What about the next
I think
Congress?
you're doing the exact opposite. I think you're taking down government spending a lot. I mean, get back to real examples, right? You have a VA hospital that's supposed to cost $300 million and it costs $3 billion, right? $3 billion, it costs 10x. Now, if Bob or I, if we did that on one of our projects, we'd be out of business.
But that's the legislators.
What?
What about the voters? If I as a voter am not paying any taxes, not the individual income tax, if I'm not paying that tax, why would I not vote for more government spending? It's all upside for me, no downside, because I don't pay taxes.
These voters aren't paying taxes anyway right now. I mean, they're in the minimum tax bracket.
And that's the problem. And look where we are.
They're unemployed. No, listen, we're also where we are right now because, we have massive, waste and our national deficit goes up by trillions and trillions of dollars a year. We need to get off of that. We need to have a balanced budget. We have to stop wasting so much money, and we need to give people the opportunity to get off their feet. Remember, the other part of what my father says every single day is, hey, we've got to seal up the border. We've got to take our jobs back. We need to have those people who aren't paying taxes now and, quite frankly, wouldn't be paying taxes. We've got to get them jobs. We've got to get them employed. We have to get them inspired. They have to become productive in the workforce, and that's what he wants to do.